You are watching Hot Springs Village Venues.
Hi, I'm Dennis Simpson with Village Venues, and we are excited to talk to Mr. Greg with Progressive Partners tonight. Greg, tell me, what exactly is going on at the Last Chance restaurant?
Yeah, sure. A few months ago, we had the fortune to actually meet with a real estate agent who let me know that Last Chance was for sale.
Really?
This was back in, I don't know, November or December.
Yeah.
So I started, in my crazy mind, I started thinking about, what could we do, down at the lake to make kind of a really cool lakeside restaurant, right? I mean, what they had done there before was great. It had been there for 20 some odd years, but it needed some refreshing, right? So we put together an offer and worked with Lee, and actually we got our offer accepted. We put together some great plans, and so we're currently renovating the old Last Chance restaurant into what's now going to be called Explore Lakeside.
You mean like the logo on your chest?
Yeah, like this, Explore Lakeside. And if you drive by, you'll see our sign out front now. We've been working on this about 3 weeks. We've already done a tremendous amount of demolition, and we're getting ready to start reconstruction. So it's pretty exciting.
About 2 weeks ago, Diane and I went and rattled the door and went, what the heck? What's going on here? Now, for 18 years, 19 years, I've been buying and selling properties in Hot Springs Village. For the last 7, I've lived in Hot Springs, and about 13 of those, I know that Last Chance has been for sale, as has the Balboa Marina.
Sure. Yeah, and I've been coming up to Hot Springs Village about the same amount of time. I mean, we came to Hot Springs Village, I think, around 2001 for the first time. Some friends of ours, own some property, just like other people, right? When they come and visit, our friends own some property there. We started coming up with them, and we actually wound up buying some property up on Lake Balboa in 2003. So we've been coming up for a very long time too, and going to the Last Chance and going to the Marina, the same sort of thing. So we were familiar with the area and what was going on there, and it just was kind of happenstance that it just worked out that both the Last Chance and I operate the Marina for Dr. Diaz, who owns the Marina. After it burned down, he needed some assistance kind of on the business side, and I have a lot of experience in that and things we've done at our other Beehive restaurant. Also in the village. So he asked me to kind of join with him and for my group to actually operate the Marina for him from the business perspective. So we've been operating the Marina since last August as well.
Wow, and I wanted to come back and mention that just for a sec. I know we just kind of jumped into this one. Here's Greg. Well, what we need to tell you about Greg is that Greg's part of a company called Progressive Partners.
Village Progressives.
Village Progressive Partners. And part of that is that they own and manage the Beehive, as I understand.
That's correct.
You and another member, as I understand it, manage the Marina.
Village Progressives also manages the Marina.
Okay,
right?
And then you and another partner are doing the Lakeside. I mean, the Explore Lakeside, right?
Yeah, at this point, Village Progressives is not involved with Explore Lakeside. I have a different partner actually on Explore Lakeside currently, but I expect that we may see some of our Village Progressives also in that deal at some point.
Well, tell me the whole plan. What exactly are we talking about at the Lakeside? Look, the upstairs was a great little library that nobody ever bothered, that I would go up and have a drink and have my sandwich and look out over the lake, and there was never anybody there, and the waitresses always said, we're not going to come up and down the stairs. Do you want to whatever? So
yeah, exactly.
What's the plan, I mean, for upstairs?
Yeah, so, I mean, we're doing, like I said, quite a bit of renovation. If you look at the downstairs level first, one of the big challenges with downstairs was that stairway. It was kind of right in the middle of the restaurant. When you walked in the front door, you looked at that stairway, right? So the first thing we decided is we're going to make every seat in that restaurant look at the lake, right?
Really?
So we're moving that stairway, off to the front. We're completely redoing the entranceway. We're redoing the restrooms. We're extending the bar. We're taking the outside deck, which now is kind of on 2 levels with a ramp. We're making that all 1 level. So all the first floor, inside and outside, will all be at the same level once we're done with this reconstruction project. And upstairs, I mean, the upstairs, as you said, was kind of unusable, right? I mean, it had a really steep staircase. It was kind of dark up there. So one of the things that we're doing upstairs is we're going to take the outside wall of that upstairs section of the restaurant and move it 10 feet out over the water.
Really?
So we're going to add 600 square feet of dining space upstairs, which will be out over the water. I mean, it'll be enclosed, but it'll be out over the water for some really unique lakeside dining upstairs.
How are you going to get up there? What are you going to do?
Yeah, so we'll have the new stairway, and we're also putting in a kind of a glass enclosed lift for people that have issues with going upstairs.
Really?
So you'll actually be able to go into the lift, and it'll hold like a couple of people or a person in a wheelchair and another person, and it just goes up and down one floor, just like this. That's all it does.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that'll be only the second elevator in the entire village.
That may be. I don't know. I don't even know if there is another elevator.
Well, there's one in the POA, so I'm like.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this isn't. It's not an elevator like a box with doors on the front of it. It's like you'd see in a library or an office building, right? It's kind of a lift with some glass around the outside of it that just goes up and down one floor.
Fantastic. Now, there has been a discussion, and we've talked about this before, that, and I'll just speak to the crowd just for a moment. Unless you have been in the X Games or you are a super athlete, it's really hard to get from the Last Chance, what's going to be the Explorer, to the Balboa Marina to the beach, because you have to jump a 5-foot wall of concrete. You have to do all. What's the plans there? What are we thinking?
Yeah, so one of the cool things that we've been experimenting with and thinking about, and even doing some kind of initial drawings on, is how could we create kind of a nice waterfront boardwalk that started over at Explore, went past the marina, around the corner, all the way over, and maybe past the pavilion and out towards the beach.
Wow.
You know, where we could actually have a nice kind of, let's call it a waterfront,
wow,
a lakefront kind of venue. So it looks like it's kind of all one piece. It could be lighted, you could have a nice little strolling area. The idea is like you can come from the restaurant, maybe you go to the marina, maybe get an ice cream, walk over to the beach,
oh, wow,
that sort of thing. So those are some things that we're thinking about, in terms of development down there at Lake Balboa.
So basically a unified look across the beach. What a concept. What
yeah,
a concept.
Exactly.
Now, you had talked about what you're doing with the patio, I guess. Mm-hmm. And how does the patio still connect to the boat dock? I mean, is that...
Yeah, so we're actually making some improvements to the boat docks too. One of the things we're going to add to the boat docks, we're going to add lights. Because that was always a challenge. We live on Lake Balboa. We'd be over there. We'd be there, like, watch the sunset. It gets dark. You can't even see your boat out there on the boat docks. The other big improvement we're making is that the entrance to the boat docks will now be up near the building. So you actually have a new ramp that goes from the side of the building up by the doorway all the way down to the boat ramp.
So you don't have to go through the building to get to the boat dock.
Well, the bigger challenge, if you remember previously, when you came up from the boat dock, you actually had to walk through all those tables, walk up the ramp all the way around to the front door to find out if there was a table or somebody would wait on you.
Past every customer that
past
you're
every
competing
customer
with,
in the restaurant, right? So now you'll be able to walk up at the top of that little ramp. We'll have a hostess stand there, so you'll be able to check in with the hostess directly on the deck there to get a table. So without kind of all that extra space.
I'm curious to ask, do you think you'd be able to hold over some of the Last Chance staff? Do you think you?
We have talked to a lot of them. Many of them have applied. We actually have some of them working for us at the Beehive right now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and frankly, it's kind of an institution in the village. It's really kind of turned into, it was kind of a hangout. It was kind of a, drop-in spot. But to be frank, it was kind of the home of the $1.50 beer, too, $1.50 beer.
Sure.
I'm guessing we're not going to have a $1.50 beer and a lift, maybe?
Probably not. We'll definitely do happy hours, and we'll have events, things like that, some specials and that sort of thing. But, overall, we'll probably go to a pricing structure that's much more consistent with what you'd expect at the market.
I heard a lady yesterday, whose name I will not mention, who lives in DeMonte, really sweet lady, I'm probably watching. But one of her comments was, I was talking about other restaurants in the village, and she said, it's like they all have about the same menu. And she held you out as an exclusion. She said the Granada and the Tanners and the Last Chance. You all got a smothered chicken. You've all got a whatever. Well, what's the menu going to look like?
Yeah, so just like we did at the Beehive, we want to be somewhat different, right? Yeah. We'll have some of the sort of favorites that you expect, and the downstairs of Explore will be more kind of pub food. So we'll have some really nice burgers with fresh cut French fries. Yeah. We're going to do a real fish and chips with fresh fish downstairs. So you'll see
kind of a quicker food.
Yeah, it'll be kind of a quicker, more easy to eat kinds of food, right? Okay. So stuff you don't necessarily have to have knives and forks for. But it'll be kind of a pub food sort of menu downstairs. But we want to have something that you'll feel just as comfortable sitting inside or sitting out on the deck eating, right? So it'll be a nice kind of comfortable burgers and things like that downstairs, but all fresh ingredients. No more frozen foods, no more canned foods. Everything that we do, just like we do at the Beehive, will be from scratch.
But it sounds like you're going to have what you don't have at the Beehive, a fryer.
We will. We are definitely going to have a fryer at the Explorer restaurant because we have some dishes that we want to be able to fry. We want to be able to have some fresh cut French fries, for example, with burgers, fish and chips, things like that. So while the downstairs will be kind of a nicer kind of pub menu type of thing, upstairs is where we're going to have our entrees.
Really?
So, we'll be serving upstairs much, kind of nicer dishes. So things like fresh cut steaks, some fresh seafood, maybe some homemade pastas, things like that. It'll be kind of our nicer dining experience upstairs. So more things, knife and fork kind of things upstairs.
Will that be
right?
more like reservation type thing? Or
I mean, we will take reservations for sure. I mean, we're still going to have a pretty reasonable price point.
Yeah.
We're thinking, entrees upstairs from $10 to $30, depending on what you get. So it will be kind of our nicer restaurant upstairs. But again, all fresh foods, and we'll be doing some pretty innovative dishes up there. I mean, one of the ideas around Explore is not only to kind of, the Explore Lakeside, but explore different cuisines. Explore different kinds of beers, explore different kinds of craft cocktails, right? So we'll be doing some more exploring upstairs. And you may have seen some of that. We've done some of that at the Beehive as well, with kind of these monthly world cuisine tours and, things like that. A lot of our customers at the Beehive didn't necessarily know that we were thinking about buying this other restaurant, and so we've sort of been experimenting on them for the last 3 or 4 months. We've been doing kind of weekly entree specials, since the beginning of the year. A lot of those are test dishes that we're thinking about for upstairs, right? So we've done a lot of cool things. I mean, a couple of weeks ago we did a lamb Wellington, which was just phenomenal.
Really?
Right? So I mean, things like that. You'll see, some nicer dishes upstairs, and not like super pricey. I mean, we're not going for like, a really high end, but definitely nicer dishes upstairs.
Well, I got to ask, because at the Beehive, I'm amazed what you're able to do in that little kitchen. So we're going to have a little kitchen at the last chance, the Explorers.
Yeah, it's a little bigger at the Explorer.
A little bigger?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the kitchen size about twice the size of what we have at the Beehive. Yeah.
Wow, so a huge makeover is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And to everybody that's just tuned in, I assume that you knew who Greg was. I assume that you knew what the Beehive is. A lot of people may not. We covered part of the Beehive in the last show. But when we come back in the next episode, we're going to tell you more about how we got here, who Village Progressive Partners are, and what the Beehive is and how we got there. We appreciate you joining us for this episode. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Hot Springs Village Venues. Please stay tuned and follow us on Facebook to see the next episode.